What is up, POW fam, and welcome to our day 2 of the counting down to FIDE 100. This time we're in the year 1925, featuring Richard Réti and Alekhine. And yes, we are now 99 days before FIDE celebrates 100th birthday. My name is Paul Emmanuel Habaradas, aka Paul POW, and I'm just a normal chess player, and we're ready to bring in the 100th anniversary with your Paul POW. And we're joining FIDE to celebrate the 100th anniversary with FIDE 100. Alright, Richard Réti is playing as white and Alekhine is playing as black. We're having a starting position, so as always we're going to analyze it. So here we are. Richard Réti will start the game with g3. Some sort of like unusual opening that I've seen. So yeah. Anyways, let's proceed with e5. e5. A traditional opening of e5. And then black then goes knight f3, which is a bit unusual when I've seen it, because the other time I was playing on a tournament in 2018, I was playing black, and then he started with e4 and then goes knight f6, and then he moves e5, because this was the problem. But the variation goes c4. I think it's an English opening. I've heard it could be an English opening, but it will be an English opening, but I don't know. I'm guessing it's an English opening. So let's go back with knight f3. As usual, it goes e4 to take this, as usual. And he has to go here or here, and not there. In this position. So Réti goes knight to d4 and d5. Look at this. Look at this pawn already in the center. Wow. But the better move, it says c5 to take this. No. This rather. And then knight b3, c4. Another one. So he goes back here. Knight d4, bishop c5. c3, d5. And look at this. 3 pawns are already in the center. Wow. While look at this. Look at this pawn. There aren't in the center. This pawn is just like attacking this. That was it. So continuation goes b3, knight f6, and bishop g2. Look at all the developed pieces. I mean, this and this only for white, but for black is this and this. But would you believe that bishop is already ready to be developed, and as well as the knight here and here. While for the bishop, on the other hand, it can only go here, because if he goes there, it will be taken. And then the only move for knight is there, a3, knight a3. There's no choice. There's no choice. And look at all this. Look at this for black. It's already developed. But let's go back here and go d5 and then d3. Ooh, trying to destroy those. But after e takes and queen takes and then knight f6 and goes bishop g2. Ready to castle up, but black says not now and goes bishop b4 check, and then bishop to d2, and they both exchange bishops and then castles kingside. And white then proceeds to go c4. What I've seen here is they've developed most of the pieces, but For black, it haven't. Those two. And then goes knight a6. Instead of knight bd7. But the, it says the better move is c5, trying to take this. But after knight c2, bishop e6, rook d1, knight c6, c takes, knight takes, knight b3, and knight. Oh, not this one. This knight rather. It's still equal position, but we can say that you can go here and here, and then you can take this and take this. Oops, not that one. But you can go like here. Anyways, let's go back. After knight a6, Réti takes the pawn with a little bit of advantage, and then it goes knight b4, and then queen c4 rather. Knight b takes d5, knight 2 b3, c6, and then he goes castle kingside. And now look at this. They can now, like, what's the term about it? They can, I don't know, but they can now develop those rooks. Moving on with rook e8, rook fd1, and bishop g4. What is the, I don't know what's the point for bishop g4, but he's just like trying to take this piece. But he can go here, because if he takes that, there's a rook there. But no, there's a queen. You cannot do that. So after queen b6, rook ac1, knight e4, knight c5, knight df6, and then knight takes, a4, a5. It's a little bit of, it's still far away about that. Point 19. Okay, so rook d2 tries to defend this. But let's see the variation. Rook e1, knight b6, knight b6, queen c3, rook c8, a4, knight bd5, queen c2, c5, e4, c takes. Yeah, look at that. Why didn't it do like, why it doesn't do knight away? It can go like this. Why? I don't understand. Okay, let's go with queen c8. Queen c8 on the main variation. Knight c5, queen h3, bishop h3 rather, bishop f3, bishop g4. Bishop to g4 tries to takes and takes, but that's what I move. But if queen c7, queen b3, rook a b8, rook a d1, knight b6, not that one, queen c2, rook bc8, a3, and g6, I think it's fairly developed for white. Okay. And then there goes, after bishop g4, let's see if bishop g2 goes. But the better move is bishop c takes, queen b4, knight e4, rook c2, knight takes, rook takes, queen d7, and rook ac1. Oh no, not this, rook ac1. So yeah. Okay, let's proceed. Bishop h3. Still trying to take the bishop. He's trying for a draw. He wants to go like this whole time, and goes for a draw. But after bishop f3 and bishop g4, there's still queen c7, and then queen b3, rook a b8, rook a d1, knight b6, queen c2, rook b c8, a3, and g6. I think we've done it before. I don't know. But yeah. But after that he goes bishop h1. So after so the variation says bishop takes, c takes, queen b4, knight e4, rook c2, knight takes, rook takes, and queen d7 and rook ac1. This file is developed for the rooks. So let's go back to bishop h1. Now it's h5. Okay, interesting. b4. Better move is rook c1, queen c7, knight b3. Oh, queen b3 rather. Knight b6, bishop g2, rook a d8, e3, h4, g takes h4, bishop h5. Okay. That should be fine. But then another one goes knight b6. Knight b6. Queen c2, knight bd7. Knight takes and bishop takes, rook c1, a6, e4, and a5. I don't know why he done e4 and then a5. I don't understand. So a6. Let's move on with a6 was the main one. So there's rook c1, but the variation says e4, b5, b5, not b6. It isn't b6. It isn't b6. It's b5. Okay, queen c2, knight b6, rook d3, a5, bishop takes, rook takes, f4, knight c4. Wow, knight to c4. Interesting. But he goes h4 on the variation. But let's see. Why queen c7? And then e4. Queen c7, e4. Knight b6. Queen d3. Knight bd7. Knight takes, queen takes, f3, and bishop h3. What's the point of it? I don't know. But yeah. But what about h4 and then a4 again? There's another one. Goes e4, knight b6, queen d3, knight bd7, f3, bishop h3, f4, h takes, and knight takes. No. H takes, and knight takes. So it's all destructed by the in white, but he has a slight advantage. Okay, so Alekhine takes the pawn, but in the variation again, queen c7, b5, b5, h takes and h takes, rook e3. Now, what's the point? If he takes it, there's check, king, bishop here. It goes here and then check and then checkmate. But after rook e3, there's bishop f3, c takes b5, a takes b5, and bishop takes f3. Okay, that should be really good. But h takes, queen c7, b5, and a takes. Wow, b5 trying to take this two pawns. Interesting. But b5, a takes. But the better one is rook e3. Rook e3 is what he needs. Why did he took this instead of sacrificing the rook? I would have been Levy, but no, this isn't Levy Rosman. We just share the same birthday. Let's proceed. A takes, rook e3, knight f3. Now he moves rook e3. Wow. This time he moves rook e3 because he already knows that this position is gonna be mated like this. Wow. And then he makes a mistake with knight f3. If it's bishop f3, Rook a e8. Bishop takes. Bishop takes. Knight takes. B takes. Rook b2. Queen d6 and king f1. White would be in an advantage. Slight advantage. And but after knight f3, tables have been turned. C takes, queen takes. Queen takes, another bad move. Queen d4 is the best move that it says. Rook a4, knight takes. Yes, he sacrificed the rook on the variation. Because when he knows that if he takes the rook, he takes the rook back, and then he can either go here or here, but he can also go rook d1 and then queen c7, knight c5, rook takes, and knight h2. Okay. Wow. So knight c3. Knight c3 is next, and then they start. White Richard Réti offers an exchange of the queen. So Alekhine accepts that, and there. Wow. He offers a queen trade just to take this. Knight takes e2. If he takes this, it's a win in exchange for black. But the white moves king to h2. However, instead of doing this, he goes knight to e4. We all know that we're going to take this. It's a free one. But instead he goes knight to e4. And then rook c4, knight takes. And then another mistake for white. Richard Réti goes bishop g2. What's happening? What happened to, instead of goes knight g5, knight takes and king takes, and knight, and again, king g2, bishop h5, rook a4. Rook a4. Interesting, because if he takes this, it's a mate in the next move. Wow. So rook a4, rook b8, and rook a d4. Black is now better at this. But after bishop to e6, and white again, another mistake with rook cc2. But in the variation goes rook b4. You have to protect this, because you can move like right there, I assume. And then black goes knight g4, king h3, g5, knight c5, bishop f5, rook takes, knight h6, g4, and rook takes e2. White is now better at it. Okay, let's proceed. Knight g4. So king h3, knight e5, king h2, knight. So he took it. He sacrificed the rook. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. Rook takes f3. If he goes here, and look at this. Look. This fork between the rook on d2 and the king on h2. You cannot deny that. So after rook takes f3, he cannot take the free rook. So rook takes e2. Oops. Let's see the end game. Knight g4, king h3, knight e3, check. Yep. Goes here and to do a double open check. So king h2, knight takes. Look at this. I don't know what just happened, but if he done this, there's a check. And then it would be over in a few while. But king h3, he just like shabang. Here. Look at this. Look at that. What is going on? King h2, knight takes, bishop takes, and knight d4. And seeing it's already over, it's already over. Richard Réti resigned the game, and Alexander Alekhine emerged victorious. Let's see what will happen if the game goes on. Rook d2, knight takes, rook takes, bishop d5. Look, bishop to d5. Look at this. Look at this. Wow. What is happening? He has to give up this knight. And then king h3, rook a4. Look at this! A knight, a bishop, and pawn up. 4 points. It's already over. It's already over. Rook d3. Rook c... Oops. Rook a4. Rook d3. And then king h3. Rook d3. White is officially winning here. It's winning. This is the final position before Richard Réti resigned in a Baden game. I don't know why is it Baden in the tournament. In 1925. Wow. What did we just saw? This is absolutely crazy. But yeah, that should be it for this 99 days to go, and we are celebrating FIDE 100. So thank you so much for watching, POW fam. Be sure to subscribe and become a Patreon member at patreon.com/PaulPower. Subscribe to my vlog channel, POW Vlogs. Follow me on Twitch, Paul Habaradas, X Paul Habaradas, TikTok, Paul Habaradas, Instagram, Paul Power YT, Threads, Paul Power YT, as well as Facebook, Paul Power YT. And join the Discord community. And by the way, join when you have business inquiries, or if you want to collaborate with me analyzing a game that is played in that year, let's just say 1960 or all this stuff, email me at paulpowbusiness@outlook.com. I only accept business inquiries only. So yeah, that's all for me. See you tomorrow for the featured game in 1926.